No Hard Feelings stars Jennifer Lawrence and Andrew Garth Feldman, and also has a range of supporting players from Laura Benanti, Matthew Broderick, to Evan Moss-Baccarat from The Bear, and Hassan Minaj. Just showing up, just putting in the work, putting in the time. Natalie Morales, she's plays a lot of best friend characters. She's in this too. It was released over the summer, and it did okay. It's one of those comedies where people were like, "Oh, they don't make them like they used to anymore." Okay, cool. Still isn't like what you think it is, but it is funny. I'll give it that. So unless you're saying we just don't make funny comedies anymore, I guess it has audio description. It's currently on Netflix. So, yay! We win. Um, so the film takes place based around the character of Maddie, who's played by Lawrence, who is an interesting human being who owns a house in a sort of a wealthy area of the state of New York, Montauk. I think you guys have probably heard of Montauk before, and she's a townie. Obviously, she's been there her whole life, and people usually just vacation in Montauk, but she actually lives there the whole time. And she comes to find out that, her car is being towed. She's got a lien on her property for back taxes not paid. So she's going to lose her house. It was her mom's house. And there's a whole backstory that we explore with Lawrence and how she came to be where she is. But she also kind of runs through guys. She's not somebody who stays in a relationship, and these guys don't like her because of it. So she's hanging out with her friends, and she's trying to figure out how she can possibly earn money because she needed her car to do gig work like Uber driving, and now she doesn't have it. So how is she going to be able to work to save her house? And she comes across an interesting ad in Craigslist that is from a couple that is looking for somebody to date their son. With date in quotations. He's socially awkward, 19, and he's about to go off to college, and they're worried that if he doesn't have some sort of social awakening, that his college experience is going to be poor. So I can't just be happy with the fact that he's going to Princeton. They have to make sure that he goes there to party, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of a thin plot, but it's funny, it's quirky. In weird ways, it feels like this generation's version of like Risky Business, where you've got like the young guy and the slightly older lady having to like co-star together in a movie. It's weird to think of Jennifer Lawrence as like this slightly older. I feel so old. I do so many reviews now where I'm just like, I'm old. This movie made me feel old just because Jennifer Lawrence can no longer pass as being college aged. She tries to say that she's like 23 and people like don't believe it. And I'm just like, what is happening? I still remember when she was, just a young actress. I remember her from the Bill Engvall show. Yeah, I watched that shit. It was on TBS. I watched the Bill Engvall show. And then I watched Winter's Bone and Hunger Games and all the way on up. And just like, A couple days ago, I reviewed Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was like, oh, Josh Hutcherson is like 32 now? What the... I feel the same way about Jennifer Lawrence. I'm like, what is happening? Why are you guys so old? Get back down there. Get away from my age. But yeah, she's, in this movie, she plays a 32-year-old. Blowing my mind. And the other kid is 19. Meanwhile, the other kid's parents are Matthew Broderick, Ferris Bueller, and Laura Benanti. So I'm sure the people who are slightly older than me seeing Matthew Broderick playing the dad of a kid who's going off to college are just also like, wait a minute, weren't you just skipping school? Time flies. So going down this weird trip, we experienced Jennifer Lawrence in many different facets, but she sort of starts to have different qualities to her, and her character evolves. His character evolves. It's funny. It's lighthearted. It's not nearly as crude as you would expect it to be. I was expecting this to be like the Hangover level crude. Like the way people were talking about this, they were like, "Oh my God, we can't even make movies like this anymore, because when we do, they start guys, and we can't make movies like that anymore with guys." It's like, why not? I don't understand that. If people just don't want to watch it, they don't have to watch it. I don't understand why we can make, like, why we just gender flipped everything, so like now we can make the same movies as long as they're with horny women instead of horny men. It's so bizarre. We have a kid who is not thinking about sex. He's thinking about like anime, and he works at a rescue shelter for dogs, and a girl is hired to bring him out of his shell. It's like, I feel like this movie would have been just flipped 20 years ago, and it would be some socially awkward girl who was hired to date, I don't know, depending on the generation, Patrick Dempsey, Freddie Prinze Jr., pick one. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of where this would have gone. And get unsocially awkwarded before her college experience. So this movie easily could have been done either way. They do make quite a point of the fact that he is 19 and an adult. They didn't even make him 18, so he's not even barely legal. He is 19, and they make quite a point of mentioning his age multiple times in the film, and she says to him several times, "You're an adult," so that way there is absolutely no question for this audience as to whether or not this is inappropriate or not. No, he is a grown adult who should be making his own decisions. And that's the problem, is that his parents are like helicopter parents. And perhaps he's become a little comfortable with that. He gets worried when he doesn't know where his phone is because his parents track him by his phone. And I'm not going to say like every joke in here works, but I'm going to say I liked the film. I thought the film was good. It was enjoyable. It was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. I like Jennifer Lawrence in the role a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's not like she's known for being a comedian. This wasn't a film that we opened up. This isn't an Amy Schumer movie, you know what I'm saying, where I expect it to be funny because the person starring in it started in comedy. But I thought Lawrence was incredibly effective in her role. It requires a lot of physical comedy in addition to just being able to interpret lines in a hilarious way. I thought it was well written, well directed. The kid that plays opposite her, for not having nearly the screen experience that Academy Award winner Jennifer Lawrence does, I thought he did a pretty good job being opposite her. All of the little other funny people, anybody from Kyle Mooney to whoever that pop up in this film, I thought they all gave their 2 cents worth of screen time and made the film funny. So it's an entertaining film. I could see Jennifer Lawrence getting a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in a Comedy for this. Easily. Yeah, that's what that category is for. We should celebrate a performance like that. We don't celebrate it anywhere else. So I'm going to get an Oscar nomination for it. So, are there really any big problems with the film? Not really. Not really. It's just I've seen funnier. It still feels like it's muted, like it's somewhat afraid to go there, but kind of that's the point, is that she just keeps running around like she's totally down for it, and she's from a previous generation, so she's an older generation that is more used to, she's like, our generation, when a door was closed at a party, we used to have sex, and then she's at a party and she opens a door, and like behind no door is anyone having sex. They're all like doing nerdy things, and she's like, God, does anybody have sex in this house? And it's like, yeah, in different movies from years past, at least one of those rooms would have had a couple making out or something. But nowadays, we're just like, we can't do that because we're elevated. We've elevated our humor. And it's good that people have found a way to make fun at stuff like that and find the humor in the fact that nobody does that anymore. And that's what this film does, is it actually kind of makes fun at the fact that the generation coming up has no idea what they're doing. There's a reference about how one of her friends says something like how he has a cousin that can't leave their house without wearing a helmet because they've been so protected or something, and he's like, I think it's a medical condition. Like, they don't understand what's up with the generation below them. And it's funny. So yeah, it's got some stuff. The kid can sing pretty well. He gets an opportunity to sing, and he has a nice voice, so that was good. And I would definitely recommend the film. The audio description I thought was nice. It was fine. I wasn't sitting there going like, oh my God, what's going on at any point during the film. There's a lot of physical comedy in here to describe a lot of things that are done by either one of the leads. And I thought it did a good job of exploring both sides of that. They do a lot with like hanging on the hoods of cars. And that makes it into the script. And also commentaries on what she's wearing, because she's constantly trying to get him sexually interested so that she can get paid, so to speak, and work to save her house. So she's always dressed in a very certain provocative way. So the audio description does find exactly what it needs to describe, and describes that. It knows where the key points are to describe that. Obviously, we need to know what she was looking like, because that's part of the humor. We need to know the physical comedy of it. There are several things that happen to her in this film that are hilarious. Lawrence really does deliver what I would call a very physical comedic performance. And she seems down for whatever in this film. So I think it's great. I don't know that it's my favorite comedy of all time, but it's definitely a step in the right direction for comedy. And if we keep making comedies like this, maybe we'll get back to things that are funny again. And we'll actually have mainstream comedies in theaters instead of comedies going straight to streaming, which is what we seem to be having. And then we get a lot of just to just total crap, just absolute total crap on some of these streaming services of these mainstream comedies. So I'm gonna give No Hard Feelings B+. I enjoyed it. Didn't love it, but I did enjoy it, and I would absolutely recommend it. I don't think it's a new classic, but not everything can be a new classic. So it's definitely a film worth watching this year, especially if you have ever questioned whether or not Jennifer Lawrence can be funny. This will answer that question. She absolutely can be. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Give this movie a look. And I also have a website, macmovieguy.com. You can follow me on X, Instagram, or Threads at MacMovieGuy. You can click subscribe and help me get closer to my 200 goal. I'm 15 people away, guys. I wanted to break 200 before the end of the year. I just need 15 more. Well, actually 16 to actually break 200. So 16. We'll say 16. Actually get above 200. Not to tie 200. 15 ties 200. You can also visit the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It lets you know what is audio description, where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it. That's all I got for this. So, anyway. That's it. I'm doing this review the same day as some other stuff. So, I will review something else and see you guys on the other side.